Turn and face the audience, and remember to stand on the mat with feet markers in front of the registrar and smile for the camera. A second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table at the far right to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. For postgraduate and undergraduate diploma candidates, you will also be wearing your hoods before entering the hall. You will be signaled by a graduations officer to rise and approach the stage. You need to have your seat ticket in your right hand. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up to the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. Proceed towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Stop in front of the registrar and stand on the mat with feet markers. Turn and face the audience. Your second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table on the far right of the stage to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. We hope that you will enjoy this occasion. The University of South Africa prides itself for being the African university, shaping futures in the service of humanity. We congratulate all our students for having walked this journey with us. And today, we celebrate you for having successfully completed your qualifications. To you we say, Halala. To all our graduates and diplomandi in this ceremony, please pay attention to the following instructions. For degree qualifications, a graduations officer will signal degree candidates to rise and approach the stage. You will need to have your seat ticket in your right hand with your hood already draped over your shoulders. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up onto the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand in your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. You will then proceed towards the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor or Acting Vice Chancellor and kneel with your right knee on the stool. At this point, your degree will be conferred. You will then proceed to the next official who will congratulate you by shaking your hand. Continue towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Turn and face the audience and remember to stand on the mat with feet markers in front of the registrar and smile for the camera. A second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table at the far right to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. For postgraduate and undergraduate diploma candidates, you will also be wearing your hoods before entering the hall. You will be signaled by a graduations officer to rise and approach the stage. You need to have your seat ticket in your right hand. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up to the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. Proceed towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Stop in front of the registrar and stand on the mat with feet markers. Turn and face the audience. Your second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table on the far right of the stage to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area, where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. We hope that you will enjoy this occasion. The University of South Africa prides itself for being the African university, shaping
Thank you. By the virtues of the powers vested in me as the Principal and Vice Chancellor of the University of South Africa, I constitute this a gathering of a congregation of UNISA. Ladies and gentlemen, we request you to join us in prayers, affirmations, and appreciations to give thanks to the accomplishments that are being celebrated on this occasion. Can we have a moment of silence? May I request the procession and all of you, our guests, our graduates, to take your seats. Thank you. Good evening. We're not going to start, colleagues. Good evening.
Good evening.
Now I know I'm in South Africa. Sanbonan, Molweni, Khwenand, Assalamu alaikum, Lochani, Dumelang, Ni hao. Please give me a minute. I'm almost there, colleagues. We teach our students technology, so I wouldn't be happy that on a day that I have to demonstrate that what we have taught them is good. I'm myself struggling. So that's my little challenge, but we'll be okay. Thank you. Let me start by acknowledging Professor Mahanu, the VP Institutional Advancement, the Chancellor of the University of South Africa, participating virtually and will be present with us in some of the graduations here in Cape Town. The members of MENCOM that are here or participating virtually, Dr. B. Likubu, Acting Deputy Registrar Governance, Mr. Nkwang, the Regional Director of Western Cape Region, the actual host of this important community in this important province, the province of Cape Town. Let me recognize the representatives of the colleges, including those that are representing the vice principals of the university. I'd like to recognize Dr. Fobe, Executive Director responsible for print production, our guests from the University of the Free State, Dr. Temba Tlasho and Mrs. Tlasho. He is the Executive Dean of Student Affairs at the University of the Free State, and we're quite appreciative to have our sister universities participating in the graduations. Let me recognize the College of Human Sciences, represented by Professor Van Niekerk, who is the college representative, Professor Malheb, college representative, and Professor Maritz. I also recognize the College of Law, represented by the Dean of Students, Professor A.M. Budeli Namakonde, as well as the College of Economic and Management Sciences, represented by the College Director, Professor O.M. Lidimo and Professor Jordan. Let me recognize the College of Science, Engineering and Technology, represented by the leadership and chairs of the colleges, and I'd like to recognize them in their names, including Professor Sumbayambe, Professor Johnson, Doe, Boysa. Let me recognize the College of Agriculture represented by the Acting Executive Dean, Professor Mapoli, Professor Mabelebele, and others. The same is true from the College of Education. Let me recognize the representative of the college, Professor Sirutu, and the team, Professor Tlakudi and Professor Akers, Dr. Lkhodi, the leadership of the College of Accounting Sciences. The Graduate School of Business Leadership is also represented by the Dean, Professor Msweli, and the leadership of the college. Let me also take the opportunity to welcome our honored guests, the loved ones of our students. Can I please request you, the students, to give them a round of applause for being here to support you. I'm not hearing you. Thank you. These are the people who supported you when you were looking for your laptops, airtime, a little money to buy your data, and many other opportunities. So let me take that opportunity to requesting you to really thank them, because it is because of family, of friends, of those who wish us well, that the journey of learning, the trajectory that you would have undertaken as the students of UNISA, whose dreams and aspiration to using education to transforming your lives, personal lives, as you would the lives of our society and your family, would have been the anchors of this important dream. And I'm quite appreciative because the scholars, the archives of Africa's knowledge systems, often at all material times, remind us, including the former president of this important republic, President Mandela, that education is sacrosanct. Education is important because it resources not only individuals, but the public sector, so that the decisions that are made on behalf of all of us are enabling, are life-affirming, and are ensuring that the decisions that are taken on our behalf are not death-dealing. It's not just for the public sector, but it's about the type of business people that we create, the engineers, the agriculturists, and the others in the different tracks of trajectories that we teach, whether the students, or whether the teachers or the students. It requires that these people are conscientious around the decisions that they take, but how they contribute to society. We don't, as a university, train engineers that produce that which will maim society. But we look for engineers, teachers, lawyers, who are attentive to the dynamics of the world, including the current geopolitical shifts, the current historical needs, the current ideas of poverty, inequality, and the imperative for South Africa in the world to be a humanizing agent, including as the country is hosting the G20. And therefore, colleagues who will be graduating this evening that have invited us to gather here to celebrate, I want to urge you to understanding that UNISA is a cradle of knowledge, is an anchor committed to co-constructing better futures, not just for yourselves as individuals, but for our society, for our country, and our continent, as well as projecting the best that Africa has to offer in the global knowledge arena, but also in multilateral engagements. And therefore, as you graduate here in this university, you're going to be an ambassador. You're going to represent the flag UNISA. You're going to represent this university that was started in 1873 as the first university in the world to teaching via distance education and ensuring that majority of us have access to university education that is quality, competitive, globally renowned, and yet attentive to the local demands. And therefore, colleagues, I want you, as you celebrate this evening, to really appreciate also the improvements that this university would have made. One, we're the only university in the country and in the continent that is the biggest. Did you hear that? So what's happening? No, I think as Africans, we take ourselves for granted. I'm going to repeat that. UNISA is the largest university in South Africa, in the African continent, and one of the mega universities in the world. Why is this important? It's important because we are saying education, university education, is not just for those who come from elite environments, but it is that which invites everyone and anyone to transforming lives. We're the only university that's responsible for over 400,000 students. The only university that is attentive through the catalytic niche areas that we have demanded as important sites of knowledge, that is committed to the developmental trajectory of our country, our continent, and the world through science as we engage with other universities. So we need not be known just for our scale, our size, and how big we are. But let me tell you what's important about you graduating from UNISA. So I want to state that when we joined the university in 2021, I joined the university in 2021 as the principal and vice chancellor. I want to thank the colleagues here on the podium, but also the others in the 26 campuses of UNISA across the country and outside the country. I want to thank them because this university was ranked 12 to 16 in many of the rankings. And this year, colleagues, according to the Department of Higher Education, our research, we are number 6 in the country. And colleagues, in line with the Department of Higher Education, in terms of publications, UJ was number 1, followed by UKZN, followed by University of Pretoria, and then followed by Stellenbosch was number 4. I'll give you the truth, colleagues. And then Wits University, number 5, UNISA, number 6, Northwest University, number 7, University of Cape Town, number 8, University of the Free State, number 9, and others. So it's very important when there are improvements in the quality of the science and scientific agenda of our country and the improvements therein that we recognize the imperative. But equally, in line with other rankings and systems, colleagues, it is my honor to inform you that UNISA is recognized as number 1 in the country in engineering sciences, alongside with Stellenbosch University and Northwest University. I think it deserves a round of applause. Our university is home to 34 to 37% of the university sector, meaning we are almost responsible for 40% of university education in our country, and we don't take that for granted. If UNISA fails, the whole higher education system will collapse because 40% of the students in universities in our country are located in UNISA. I think it's also important, if you're interested in the quality of food that you eat, interested in the quality of life, the quality of research, but also the ownership and participation in agriculture, in food sovereignty and food security, you must be proud that the University of South Africa has procured an experimental farm where we are testing the different sites of biogenomic aspects on behalf of the continent, but also on behalf of the contribution that this university can make to our society. We're the host of the Africa Biogenome Project. So the flora, the fauna, the plant, the insect, we are looking at them for the benefit of the future and conserving them. I think our colleagues require a round of applause. Equally true, colleagues, is the fact that you colleagues in the green gowns, what do you call these ones? Lapels or whatever. I'll remember, colleagues, I apologize. Our College of Education produces 51% of the teachers in the public and private colleges or schools in our country. And I think this is an important contribution because both the public and the private schools are quite at the center of creating opportunities for many in our country. Can you give them a round of applause? Whilst it is true that, colleagues, we want teachers that are strong, that contribute to best ethics, best talents, I think we should also tell you in this congregation that the Management Committee of the University of South Africa has taken a decision to establish a Medicine Science Center to help reteach many teachers so that our schools will take mathematics, physics, chemistry, and associated subjects because we recognize our country will struggle if these critical knowledges are neglected. We are aware that many schools are starting to stop teaching mathematics, which is quite critical. And therefore, we are quite appreciative for the Medicine Science Center as an in-service training methodology for the teachers, even as we go down to basic education, to equipping students so that we strengthen our country in this area. The accountants, the auditors, the financiers, UNISA produces 30% of the accountants, chartered accountants in the country. And there are quite many of them and quite central to the transformation of the business sector in our country. I think they equally require a round of applause. So I'm not sure if you're attentive to the fact that when we produce 30% of chartered accountants, it means we are partners to the private sector, to the public sector, in creating accountability, especially in the context where accountability and financial prudency are sometimes a challenge for many institutions. And we are proud that these graduates of ours become quite central to strengthening the country, the democratic dividend, as it does the opportunity for economic transformation. Finally, colleagues, it is my pleasure and appreciation to inform you that the epistemic communities of the University of South Africa are quite appreciative to being at the center of journeying with you, with our societies, to making education an important asset of our society. And for us as an African university, we do not take for granted the role that we have to play. We are producing graduates, not only for the country, but for the world. A graduate of UNISA must have expansive horizons, must not be limited to the geographic location, because they can live and thrive anywhere in the world, for the educational resources we would have made available allow them to know that the sky is no longer the limit, but the horizon of research and visitation, and therefore they can conquer the global world. And to conclude, as I welcome you to this university, the home of leaders, the home of Mandela, the home of Mbeki, the home of Jill Marcus, the home of President Ramaphosa. These are the graduates that we are proud to have produced. But equally, we've produced other leaders, not just political, economic, in different areas, in different countries. And I think it's quite an important, especially for you, the graduates, as we welcome you to the graduation. If your dream was just to do the degree that you've done or that you're going to walk in this podium for, we want to remind you that we as UNISA represent lifelong learning. So if you're graduating with your degree, I think tomorrow you should start applying for your honors. And if you're graduating with your honors or postgraduate degree, please note that we're not going to wait for you. We will knock your door so that you apply for your master's. And if you can see this evening, that we have one doctoral candidate who has come as Misty. You know, today when he left home, he's Misty. In 2 hours' time, the title will have changed. All of you, and therefore must be an inspiration to all of you to understanding that education is a beautiful gift. It ought not to be taken for granted. And in the words of the first woman president in the African continent, Her Excellency Mrs. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the former president of Liberia, she says, education is the cornerstone of sustainable development. It empowers individuals to make informed decisions. It contributes to societal development. It promotes positively the community's aspirations, but it consistently enables people never to be proud, but it resources them to being anchors of positive development for society. With these words, I extend a warm welcome to UNISA, the University of the Land, the home of leaders, the university committed to shaping futures for the benefit of society and the global world. Welcome. Feel welcome. So can I hear that you're happy? Thank you very much, colleagues. At this point, I'd like to request Professor Malherbe to read the Chancellor's address. Thank you very much, Professor Malherbe. Thank you. Applause.
Principal and Vice Chancellor, Professor Lenkabula, Acting Deputy Registrar, Dr. Lekubu, Vice Principals, Executive Deans, Learned Professors, University Management, Convocation, honored guests, family, friends, graduates, and everyone who's gathered with us here today. Molweni, Dumalang, Sambonani, Salam, Goeie Aand, and good evening. My name is Nick Malherbe. I'm a senior researcher at UNISA's Institute for Social and Health Sciences, and it's my tremendous honor to present the Chancellor's address this evening. The title of my address is Cherishing the Web of Life. To speak of the web of life is to speak of the connections that make our lives what they are. No life exists without connection. The world that surrounds us is always also inside of us. And if we make our environments also make us. It is only through others and the world that we are able to know and connect with others and the world. We all know what the web of life is because we feel, we live through, we depend on, and sometimes we suffer beneath the connective tissue on which our lives depend. Each of us is here today because of this connective tissue. And yet, even though we all know that our lives are webbed, they are defined by connection, people can and they do harm the web of life. The web of life is always vulnerable to injury. We don't need to look very far to see examples of this kind of injury. Climate change, environmental destruction, genocides, violence, discrimination, and war are all tearing asunder the web of life. But we also know that there are smaller, more subtle ways by which we sever that which allows us to connect with each other in the web of life. There may well be material rewards that come with committing injuries to the web of life, and there will certainly be no shortages of opportunities to perform these sorts of injuries. It is possible, for example, to see the person beside you as someone with whom you must ruthlessly compete or subjugate. We might also try to exert mastery over the natural world or insist the struggles of another are entirely separate from the struggles that are our own. It is in these ways that we turn our backs on the web of life. But there are, of course, other ways of living in and for the web of life, ways that we can nurture the web of life. We can honor the web of life, we can care for it, and we can attend to its wounds. And we can defend the web of life and what it is that connects us to each other. It is my hope that everyone here today refuses the opportunity for injuring the web of life and instead chooses to cherish it. All of you here today have achieved something so wonderful, and make no mistakes, your achievements are due to your persistence and your hard work. But each of your individual achievements has taken place in the web of life, within different networks, traditions, and heritages of connection. Your degree is a product of the work that you have put into it, but it is also the product of webs of care and support. If your achievements are in this world, they are also of this world. They are part and parcel of the web of life. We have in this hall today a kind of micro-web of life. We can and we should connect with one another through a shared sense of pride, as well as a collective recognition of what different people have gone to get here today. I hope that as you all graduate here today, you see yourselves in your degrees, but that you also see the webs of life that are contained within your degree. Your degree has a history that no one knows better than you do, and this history does not end here today. It's a history that each of you will continue to live out in the web of life. We might even say that the real value of your degree will be activated by what you do with it in the web of life, by how you use it to cherish the web of life. Ours is a world of injury, it's true, but it's also a world that each of us can defend against injury. And this defense is strongest when it is collective and when it is connected. And so once again, I want to congratulate every one of today's graduates. All of us gathered here today within this web of life are so, so proud of you. Thank you.
Let me take this opportunity to thank Professor Malherbe for that important Chancellor's address. Can I request a round of applause? I believe that Prof says in his speech, very succinct, very powerful. He says, none of us here are atoms that are not related to others. He seems to deploy an injunction in our philosophy as Africans that says, I am because you are, reminding us that we are inextricably bound with one another, as well as with the world that we live in, and therefore to thrive, to live, to survive, to enjoy life, and to live in life-affirming ways, we must always be attentive to the webs of lives that we are interconnected with. Thank you for a wonderful message, especially at a time when climatic changes and other challenges remind us to care for one another and for the creation. So thank you very much. Please give him another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start with the conferment of the degrees and diplomas, may I request you not to leave the hall before we end the ceremony. May I also request you can have your phones on. We just request the volume down. Because it's very important that, especially some of you who live on the social media or are running a virtual business or something like that, not to be disadvantaged even as you are in this important ceremony. So we request you to be attentive to that. We also request you can see that many colleagues here, some of them have their specs, meaning they cannot see well. Please don't put your light to project in their eyes. It makes it difficult for them to focus. So I request these announcements, colleagues, for you to take them as you. Colleagues, because you're late, can you please run, not walk? You'll walk as you come to, so that we can start. Huh? Please run. I need to start the conferment. Thank you. Thank you very much. Perhaps you can sit at the back and you'll find an opportunity later. Thank you, colleagues. By virtues of the powers entrusted to me as the Principal and Vice-Chancellor of the University of South Africa, I shall now proceed to confer the degrees and diplomas of the university on the candidates whose names appear in the program. I request the executive deans of the colleges to present the candidates to me.
Madam Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Meresa Gime Zegei for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request the supervisor, Professor M. Mather, to read the citation in support of the conferment of the degree. In the absence of Professor Mather, I will read the citation. In his thesis entitled Green Synthesis for Chromium Oxide, Nanocoatings as Spectro-Selective Solar Absorbers for Low Temperature Applications, the students succeed to validate a cost-effective process for the fabrication of bio-inspired chromium oxides using natural extract of Opiotia viscosa indica as an effective chelating agent. These optimized bioengineered chromium oxide exhibited a significant selective optical solar absorption with a potential applications in low temperature concentrated solar power technologies. His research project is in line with the global renewable energy focus and minimization of the CO2 footprint and the UN Sustainable Development Goals and institutional VC catalytic niche areas. Madam Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Marisa Gimei-Segei the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
So, I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Marisa Gimei-Segei. Congratulations.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receives the degree of Master of Commerce. Luke Linen Abrahams. Musin Parker. Madam Vice Chancellor, Rose Nompumelelo Chikalanke receives the Masters of Social Work.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receive the degree of Master of Business Leadership. Lucky Matume Bupape. I beg your pardon. Nomalizo Siqholo. Well done. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidate receive the degree of Master of Business Administration. Xavier Ariel Rathipol.
Madam Vice Chancellor, Jesus or Jesri in French, Babandiga Badivanga receives the degree of Bachelor of Engineering Technology Honors with distinction. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receive the degree of Bachelor of Science Honors. Neshim Baumohim. Junior Vulombero Eliba. Gehedas Stephanie Karina's degree obtained with distinction. Chanel Zetles Cardinal. Thomas Upa Mabuza. Naledi Mashopa. Anton Munich. Matase Moses Sheila. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receive the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Honors. Coretta Chiesa Watagwa.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receive the degree of Bachelor of Arts Honors in the College of Law. Mandlakazi Xaxa. Nolusindiso Christina Mafalala. Nomthandazo Tlou Deborah Mamabulo. Wanda Mpulusen.
Sandisa Nsekeni.
Madam Vice Chancellor, Hlamulo Makwakwa received the degree of Bachelor of Arts Honours in the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Science Honours. Vumani Laki Adonis. Claudia Mendy Freisenberg. Sisetu Jelwana. Amanda Jonas. Ruarash Mandika Te. Samora Martins. Pamela Mbombo. Ndikokele Nombila. La, la. Maite Lizzie Machaka. Tabiso Michael Mukwena. Madam Vice Chancellor, Baron Clement Aliosios seldom obtained the degree with distinction. Linda Lucia Sihuela. Mihle Hlangana. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Theology Honours. And Madam Vice Chancellor, Taswil Cheslin Arens receives the degree with distinction. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Arts Honours. Monique Nicole Achilles. Madam Vice Chancellor, Amerentia Lydia Bowman receives the degree with distinction. Simone Brecher. Gertrude Pauline Conrad. Madam Vice Chancellor. Oh, okay.
Check the book.
Oh, the book. Did you get your degree with distinction? Oh, okay. Madam Vice Chancellor, Simone Brecher receives the degree with distinction. Gertrude Pauline Conrad. Madam Vice Chancellor, Dion Delport receives the degree with distinction. Madam Vice Chancellor, Alisa Mary Duffett receives the degree with distinction. Madam Vice Chancellor, Stuart Brian Dunn receives the degree with distinction. Monica Olwetu Gali. Mawande Golozana. Madam Vice Chancellor, Fiona N. Graham receives the degree with distinction. Tracy Joanne Hines. Shuail Ahmed Khan. Darren Trevor Lee. Nomncebo Joyce Mtakane. Kanyisile Memory Mpongose. Kanyisile. Nomonde Ngoba. Kelly N. Olifa. Celine Maxine Reynolds. Viola Rochelle Sass. Michelle Skippers. Mandlenkosi Sibanda. Suzelle Valma Siemers. Jamie Lee Smith. Zintle Steleki. Dominique Stoffberg. Madam Vice Chancellor, Judith Ann van Dam received the degree with distinction. Madam Vice Chancellor, Ashton Dale Astro receives the degree of Bachelor of Information Sciences Honors. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receives the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Honors. Madam Vice Chancellor, Algetha Delcia Anthony receives the degree with distinction. Teresa Asho. Madam Vice Chancellor, Renee Bowa receives the degree with distinction. Ronelle Constable. Rochelle Daniels. Jeffrey Davids. Zola Gift Sipokazi Dlodlo. Lungiswa Dube. Madam Vice Chancellor, Mariska Johan Fall receives the degree with distinction. Nonsikelelo Bridget Gumede. Adrian David Harsenberg. Madam Vice Chancellor, Menchu Tlag Heinricht receives the degree with distinction. Janine Haynes. Kyle Jacobs. Bianca Jonker. Bianca. Ashley Kasana A. Kalu. Ashley. Benedine Shinae Leonard. Alex Zay Densley N. Laura Lee Leonard. Lungisa Kazana. Madam Vice Chancellor, Slelekele Tlhologelo Mokotsanyana receives the degree with distinction. Snegugu Akola Mlungisa. Mpo Veronica Matode. Dintletsi Magi Magolane. Madam Vice Chancellor, Gordon Bokamoso Mahaka Mutsumi receives the degree with distinction. Mzwandile Wellington Ndunge. Shiham Osman. Colleen Desiree Poleman. Madam Vice Chancellor, Danina Rose receives the degree with distinction. Zanele Sandi. Yusuf Said Gulam. Astrid Joy September. Ruan Swart. Bridget Swartz Goliath. Madam Vice Chancellor, Jordan Kyle Van Roy receives the degree with distinction. Madam Vice Chancellor, Kylene Van Veek receives the degree with distinction. Emil Walker. Kyle Chesray Whitaker. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receive the degree of Bachelor of Administration Honors. Sergio Johannes Bokers. Madam Vice Chancellor, Margrieta Gravestein receives the degree with distinction. Lusanda Lolibo Quinta. Crystalline Crisel Classe. Gracia Low. Wendell Peterson. Walter Wayne Wade.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Education Honors. Terentia Adams. Byron Chunu. Simonei Jamaine Damon. Gareth Aleric Dreyer. Yanel Simone Gallant. Frida Petronella Jordan. Valeska Kotse. Yuna Leroux. It's not written. Oh, apologies, Madam Vice Chancellor. Yuna Leroux received the degree with distinction. Zemera Diana Mahani. Nomakwezi Sylvia Magola. Kanyisa Mkhubata. Thokozani Ndlovu. Sharon Oberman. Seshini Reddy. Welsha Semanto Williams.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Education. Hilary Sunet Abrahams. Jordan Jean Jessica Abrahams, degree obtained with distinction. Rukhshana Abrahams. Amina Adams, degree obtained with distinction. Monique Agalas, degree obtained with distinction. Abigail Larissa Alexandra, degree obtained with distinction. Tobeka Pacela. Fawaz Paradin. Anke Ben. Anadine Claire Boyson. Envoline Luzanne Boyson. Letitia Levan Branders, degree obtained with distinction. Tanya Chirato. Ntule Poshia Chidi. Kaylin Justin Klute. Aziza Daris. Kayla Lee Dat. Farin Lee Efta. Marne Erasmus. Asisipo Finini. Geraldine Fourie. Yumna George obtained the degree with distinction. Anneline Medeline Godwin. Liana Grobler, degree obtained with distinction. Monica Chrisabel Hart. Dylan Dijon Howell. Jamie Lee Isaacs. Christoline Charlene Isaacs. Elise Marie Jacobs. Biola Bioza Johnson. Shannon Carmelita Evelyn Jones. Shanae Jordan, degree obtained with distinction. Cornel Kutsie, degree obtained with distinction. Logan Odile Lendo. Kanisha Rosaline Lindsay. Leonie Judith Links, degree obtained with distinction. Nicolene Eunice Juneta Lutz, degree obtained with distinction. Jamie Lee Ann Louise, degree obtained with distinction. Nicolene Lucas. Fremia Magotha. Zandile Makosana. Tembisa Makunyana. Grace Maponga. Shaima Martin. Onwabile Mfegeto. Nondumise Mwabe. Maite Clara Mudiba, degree obtained with distinction. Moses Tabang Mudisani. Ilana Debbie Moses. Jacques Mostert, degree obtained with distinction. Esther Mutero obtained the degree with distinction. Faren Georgina Orkis. Lindsay Meredith October. Petri Michelle Perrang. Elizabeth Serena Peterson. Kaylin Plateau. Anke Pretorius, degree obtained with distinction. Jillian Prince. Elaine Nadine Prudentia Prince. Heinrich Imke Rode. Lynn Seconds. Shamsunisa Shaik. Angelique Sellier. Ashley Amy Simons. Asive Siwela. Gertrude Suzanne Stallenberg. Amira Stierman. Judine Anya Swart. Monica Swart. Rewain Feljun obtained the degree with distinction. Renee Pauline Eisen Mullings. Rihanna Innes. Donnelly Mart. Nosipiwo Nangashe. Natalie Solomons. Desiree Patricia Thomas. Lamis Thompson. Norfika Brown. Gabriela Donatella Pace. Promilda DeBrain. Carlise De La Rosa. Bianca Cecilia Diallo. Tony Lee George. Hendrik Hatting. Petula Fiona Johnson. Precious Nongawe Mali. Nakutula Kumbelo. Chad Richter. Zulfa Taylor. Corne Robin Titus. Christine Twagira Maria obtained the degree with distinction. Shimare Fenter. Nompilo Lucy Dladla. Carmen Lee Fenter. Henry Ricardo Vilskut. Anshan Killian.
Madam Vice-Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Amanda Beresford. Here you go. Wadeen Johnson. Madam Vice-Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Commerce. Melise Symington. Gaidnor Edmari Adams-Wilson. Azil Jodine Albertus obtains the degree with distinction. Sharelle Dean Elizabeth Castles. Glenna Reyes Collect Klute. Vilnay de Villiers. Ndileka Deliza. Ansha Michelle Duris. Tazania Tamara Francis. Yonela Akona James. Ona Kivit. Anrich Myron Lucas. Abongile Mateza Lamidi. Priyanka Naidu obtains the degree with distinction. Isaac Johannes Pretorius. Natasha Pretorius. Marissa Smith. Hendrik Gerhardus Steiger. Martijn George Turk. Petrus van Staden. Okay, apologies, it's not on the card. Petrus van Staden obtains the degree with distinction. Clarissa Viray. Faria Voraji.
Madam Vice-Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Accounting Sciences. Jason Theo Barish. Estienne Paul Bester. Juan Bester. Amy Serena Cunningham. Eunice Chido Denzel. Leandra Jones. Shadian Kirtley Lottering. Sifalani Mananga. Shawnee Nordia. Beatrice Marshall van Wyk. Madia Watney. Thank you.
Madam Vice-Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Laws. Joel Ngat and Fararai obtained the degree with distinction. Christopher Oluwafemi Filani. Jackie Leo Fransman. Fiasha Govinda. Laura Nyasha Hamnakwandi. Shafa Hawa. Ameline Kathleen Camille Henrik. Christopher Jones. Willem Cornelis Kohn. Leishi Brittany Enlin. Tembinkosi Mananga. Patience Mudare. Rutendo Trish Namusi. Notsuko Petros. Henry Pretorius. Azizipo Kanyiso Saba. Ongezwa Stebu. Marishan Smith. Annika Swart. Madam Vice Chancellor, Carlo Isaac Vermeulen obtained the degree with distinction. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Arts in the College of Law. Lauren Amanda Fortune. Marianne Hankerman. Abigail Janssen van Rensburg. Kolile Matthews Masiu. Gideon Lennox Peter. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Commerce in the College of Law. Shiena Leandri Adams. Letitia Domen. Rudy Boa.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Science. Cez Vogler. Mohamed Yassin Ayub. Malcolm Ian Kells. Simbule Lee Daly. Timon Rari Harirao. Patience Hove. Marco Keiza. Rain Eden Logan. Craigie Mayer. Privilege Masocha. Caroline Natasha Murenga. Reloy Peterson. Madam Vice Chancellor, I'm happy to report that New Smith obtained the degree with distinction. Matene Jan van Ames. Henrik Albertus Fischer. Reina Joseph Wepner.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Science in the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. Chantel Fuchane. Victoria Promise Moni. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Consumer Science. Tabitha Sheko. Madam Vice Chancellor, Courtney David Timson receives the degree of Bachelor of Science. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receive the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Zulfa Booth receives her degree with distinction. Sibusiso Gwele Madam Vice Chancellor, Sune Opeman receives her degree with distinction.
Madam Vice Chancellor, Sedi Christian Swanepoel received the degree of Bachelor of Social Worker. Madam Vice Chancellor, Amin Jumet received the degree of Bachelor of Information Sciences. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Craig Stien. Gregory John Dude. Madia Friesler. Babalwa Gushu. Lizette Ilse Langre. Justina Humutso Ramakolo. Abulele Dlova. Jinar Engelberg. Tyran Jacobs. Sandy Swe Ndoi. Nicole Ashley Augustine. Yondo Paneshe Baze. Chloe Brink. Michaela Taten Finner. Benjamin Bernard Gola. Tahira Kolbe. Rodwell Munashe Mavaza. Sintish Mokania. Yvette Marlies Radel. Amanda Jessica Sinner. Tyler Lee Kamemeya.
Madam Chancellor, the diploma candidates will now be introduced to you. Natalie Rita Adams. Agifa Dilong. Nwabisa Theodora Hogo. Godfrey Manquiro. Charlene Francisca Owen. Shania Leohick Smith.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the postgraduate diploma in the College of Economic and Management Sciences. Callan Newell Bartman. Lynn Baptiste. Blessing Chikwandwa. Belinda de Stadler receives the diploma with distinction. Heinrich Ferreira. Amy Jo Fisher. Jasmine Genesia Johnson. Tabisa Lipaila. Komogelo Khaladi Matabate. Stand there. Tobeka Victoria. Tobeka Victoria Mdikazi. Luando Moxini. I'm going to read it again. Luando Moxini. Nesta Dinayo Mueng. Sean Morgan. Siso Sukulushle Mureng. Andisiwe Venolia Mzamani. Selona Naidu. Ntobeko Nobetsiki. Close to your camera. Did they take a photograph? Lumonia Noxolo Kathleen Ntaka. Noxolo Zamazid Zwide Nuxmalu. Abigail Jeevarathnam Padiachi. Gershwin Isaac Savage. Do you say Cedrus? Okay. Jared Cedrus. Ashley Shears. Vuyokazi Candice Siyawe. Diona Stradum. Muhammad Meneer Vollenhoven. Raymond Dean Williams. Tatum Ray Williams. There you go. Brilliant Zondo.
Yeah. Colleagues, parents especially, colleagues, I start seeing people leaving. I think it's unfair. We're making the graduations of others to be without dignity. When you were graduating, people waited. Wait, colleagues. Can we respect the dignity of the graduations? Can I request colleagues to close the doors, to allow the parents to go, but our students must stay until the end of the graduations. It is not fair that we were gracious when you were graduating, but as soon as you finish, you disrespect others' graduation. It doesn't work like that. These are not the values that we have. Can we finish the graduation with dignity? We will do our best to ensure that we finish, but it is not gracious that when you have just finished your assistance, then you go. It is actually, it shows why, as a society, we cannot make progress because we don't care about the collective. The Chancellor's speech talked about how we are inextricably bound. If it's a UNISA student, please don't open for them. If it's their parents or their loved ones, please do. Can I please request the dignity for the graduations? Thank you very much.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receive the postgraduate diploma in the College of Education. Danny Brank. Madam Vice Chancellor, Sinetemba Makapela receives the diploma with distinction.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidate received the postgraduate diploma in the College of Graduate School of Business Leadership. Palesa Sesinye received the diploma with a distinction.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidate received the diploma in the College of Human Sciences. Simon Maria Keshwa received the degree with distinction. Simon Maria Keshwa received the diploma with distinction. Kwela Millicent Mbeu.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the diploma in the College of Science, Engineering and Technology. Shane McNeil Leish. Andisiwe Mayapi. Sashin Stewart McRae Smith.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the diploma in the College of Law. Anele Thokozamile Bobotyani. Chair Melissa, sister. Zandile Nonchikiza. Fani Tembinkosi Sitatu. Shanice Anastasia Wilson.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the diploma in the College of Economic and Management Sciences. Jan van der Merwe. Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidate receives the National Diploma in the College of Economic and Management Sciences. Corbin Walter Usias. Ndivuho Judith Nechifefe.
Madam Vice Chancellor, the following candidate received the diploma in the College of Accounting Sciences. Tandiswa Mafu.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the opportunity to congratulate our graduates. They've made us proud. Thank you. Thank you. Colleagues, no. I think there's noise that is not cognizant of the event. We are not here in a festival or a concert. And if we want to celebrate in the true African spirit, we know how we celebrate. So I'm going to request at this point, ululations. Wait. Wait, colleagues. I'm going to request that we applaud, we ululate. We're going to take exactly 1 minute to truly celebrate. But if you're going to say, yay, try not to. Try not to, because that's not how, as Africans, doesn't matter what shade or geographic location, we always treat our events with dignity. So I'm going to request that we celebrate with dignity these graduates that have made you proud, that have made the university proud, and with dignity and love. Can I now request applauses, ululations from you, the loved ones? Can I please hear you? Thank you. Thank you very much. Can I request you, the graduates, can you please stand? They're not going out. You'll close that door. Otherwise, we take our certificates. Can I request, yes, we will take them. Can I request the graduates to stand up? Wait. There's a corner there. If I was still in high school, it would be a naughty corner. Just wait a bit. Colleagues, I'd like you to look and face your loved ones. Wait, colleagues. I did not ask the parents. No. Laimosha. I only asked the people who graduated this evening to stand up. May I request, if you did not walk this podium, please sit down. Thank you. Colleagues, can you look towards your parents, your loved ones, and show them that you appreciate their accompaniment? Thank you. Once again, congratulations to you, the graduates of UNISA, who have made us proud with your pursuit of the degrees that you have followed. We often say if you were graduating with your diploma, we encourage you to pursue your degree. And if you were graduating with your degree and your postgraduate diploma or honors, we encourage you to pursue your master's. And if you would have followed through with your master's, we request you to follow track with our colleague here, Girma, who is graduating, coming all the way from Ethiopia, graduating with his doctorate. As UNISA, we're truly proud of your accomplishments. We know how difficult it was for you. Sometimes you did not make it when we used our proctoring system. It caught you. But you learned to be an ethical leader for yourself, for the discipline that you have been trained for. And we know that when you leave UNISA, you'll make an excellent citizen wherever you will be going. With the concluding words that we would like to share with you, we often encourage our students to say, if you don't have a passport, colleagues, Home Affairs will be open on Monday. Please go and find a passport and show that you conquer the world. When we started, we said, the sky is no longer the limit. People now go and study the sky. You have no reason just to be located here in this beautiful province. The world is your oyster. It's a theater of knowledge that you must traverse at any time. We often say if you have not traveled all the provinces of the country, you cannot represent UNISA well, because you'll not know how to compare, contrast the assets that are available within the country that you can make use of, whether you create your own business or whether you look for employment. The other aspect we say, if you don't travel, then you lose out, because the world is interconnected, as Professor Malheb was saying. So make sure that in this year, when you would have graduated, at least visit 3 South African countries. Namibia, you can go by bus, it's up north. Botswana is very close, Lesotho, and so on. Don't be a graduate who is not attentive to the dynamics that the world is connected, and therefore you must know your continent. Can I ask, how many of you have been outside the African continent? By show of your certificate. I'm happy. It's a great number. So we encourage you also to go anywhere in the world, because your credentials are accredited for you to work or to create employment anywhere in the world. We're proud, we're honored, we're privileged as the university that you are our graduate. And we hope you will treat UNISA degree with dignity and grace. Thank you very much. Congratulations. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you to stand for the singing of the of the national anthem, may I request you to remain standing to allow the procession to leave and for me to... Can we sing the national anthem with the dignity it requires? May I request, as we do so, to ensure that we respect the aspirations of our society that are entailed within our own national anthem. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, my final request to you is to allow me to dissolve the congregation. By the virtues of powers entrusted to me as the Principal and Vice-Chancellor of the University of South Africa, I dissolve this congregation of the university. I request that you allow the procession to leave whilst you're standing so that we can close. Thank you.